And good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner. It's Tuesday, the 6th of September, and we have a new Prime Minister this morning. Actually, this afternoon. I think they're travelling up to Balmoral. Boris Johnson has resigned. Liz Truss will be in this afternoon. We'll see what her new policies are, see if she can sort out the energy crisis and every other crisis we've got going. You happy, Paul?
I'm happy. I think at this point in time, we'll see whether or not we can actually get some progress going here in this gap of almost 7 weeks now, without any certainty.
Well, maybe by the time she actually gets around to doing something, gas price will be back down again. You never know. Sort of funny thing that happens, isn't it? And I mean, actually, gas price in the UK certainly is coming off now relatively quickly, actually. So we're down to about 400 this morning. Haven't been up as high over 600, so quite a big fall. Anyway, let's go to mining news, which is why people are listening. What do you want to kick off with, Paul? I'll let you decide. Do you want to kick off with Rio, maybe?
To kick off with Rio, that's the big news there. Rio Tinto binding agreement to acquire all of the remaining Turquoise Hill Resources, TSX and New York listed joint venture partner in the Oyu Tolgoi copper deposit in Mongolia that Rio doesn't currently own. Directors of Turquoise Hill have unanimously approved the offer for Canadian $43 per share in an all-cash deal. It represents a premium of 67% on the closing price for Turquoise Hill shares from the 11th of March. So it's a good number to come back on, and I think Turquoise Hill shareholders and the board are satisfied that now is probably the right time to exit this particular investment and move on to something else. Both Rio and the Mongolian government have been looking forward to a simpler ownership structure on Oyu Tolgoi for some years now, and now it's just those two which are involved in the operation as far as ownership is concerned. So it should work out for all parties.
Yeah, I think I know that feeling of wanting to get rid of an investment and move on to something else, but there we go, we won't even go there. I think there's a little bit of news out today from AMG, which is the Advanced Metallurgical Group in Europe, listed on the Frankfurt Exchange.
Yes,
do you want to just talk through that, and then I'll tell you why I think it's so interesting.
Yes, AMG doesn't get as much attention here in London, or perhaps around the world even, as much as it ought to. It is a rather significant producer of battery materials, operating mines in Brazil and processing facilities in mainland Europe. But because it trades Amsterdam and Frankfurt, but not London or Toronto or other mining centers, it doesn't probably get as much attention. In this case, it has signed a binding supply agreement with the Korean company EcoPro on a 3-year deal to supply battery-grade lithium hydroxide from its Germany plant, which is under construction and to be commissioned in Q3 of next year. 5,000 tons per annum of lithium hydroxide to be provided under that particular deal, and the intent is to eventually scale it to 20,000 tons per annum from this facility in Germany, with the addition of further processing trains, and could potentially grow as big as 100,000 tons per annum.
Which is big. That's 5 trains. AMG is interesting. They actually have a JV with Shell, and then a JV with Shell AMG with Aramco to produce vanadium, which is another battery metal, obviously. But I think what's interesting is that certainly what I'm hearing, I mean, slightly interested in your views, Paul, is that the lithium market, again, is starting to get into a real bind. I'm not sure we can see the prices going any higher because they're already incredibly high, but we thought that about gas, so maybe they will. But there's got to be a land grab. It appears to be a complete shortage of lithium supply to supply the EV targets that just can't be achieved. I'm not sure where you stand on that, Paul. Does the lithium price go higher, or will you just fail to achieve all these targets? Does Volkswagen go bust because has this huge plan for EVs. It has really no supply of lithium.
Oh, well, where I stand is, yes, you're right that it's according to what the automakers plan to sell out to 2025 as far as total and manufacture in automobiles and vehicles out to 2025. But the issue is whether or not the consumer is yet ready to buy that many vehicles across the world by 2025. The Chinese are in a position with their lithium iron chemistry that and they can essentially mandate that their domestic suppliers and automakers sell these vehicles out to 2025, but whether the rest of the world is prepared to buy at that pace is up to the consumer, I think, and we don't have enough incentives, in my view, offered by governments across the world in order to make that many orders delivered. So I'm a little bit hesitant on that myself.
Yeah, but yet again, the Chinese are getting a dominant position in a future technology, in a future metal. And I think there still needs to be an awful lot of work from Western governments to actually position themselves correctly here. And I think that getting into the lithium mining space again, having another look at it, probably is not a bad place in this current environment to have your money.
But maybe more in favor of that one.
Yeah, maybe more on that another day. What else do you want to talk about, Paul?
Oh, it's mentioned here, Amaroq here, the former AEX Gold has upgraded the resource estimate on the former operating gold mine Nalunak in southern Greenland. That is an adjustment that has been several years in the making, I would say, and they've been all this time still relying upon old resource numbers from the Nalunak operation or former operation. It's now a total inferred mineral resource, 355,000 tons, 28 grams gold per ton for 320,000 ounces of gold. That is one of the highest grade resources in the world for a historic or an operating mine, but it is still relatively small at this point, I would have to say. It is a 30% increase on the prior estimate and a 50% increase in grade, which is very pleasing to see. Now, Amaroq, or I should say Nalunak, had previously had its milling done of its ores in Canada, so we'll see how Amaroq intends to address that issue of just how and where they will mill this material.
Fair enough. Why don't we call it a day there, because it's probably enough, and we can speak again tomorrow.
Very good. See you then.